And just like that, we're live. Oh my goodness. It is Wednesday. I see some familiar faces. Let's just get started. What is going on? You are watching and listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. This is episode 727. I am your host, Steve V, alongside Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful this evening. So good to see you.
Thank you. It is my birthday week, and I celebrated on Monday, but we were celebrating last week. We've got a whole show based on that. But yeah, 55
Yes,
never
sir.
felt better. And
More
as
alive. 65, so
yeah,
alive.
I think I like those five and five is 10. And I think in numerology, that's like a good sign. So that's really good. But tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about that. If you, though, before we get into that, my birthday week celebration, happy
hmm
birthday to me.
Yes.
We keep making the announcement that Kodi Maurice has his brand new EP out called Thing of Beauty. It's wherever you get your music. And we are postponing our live. We want to get it right. And so we are
Yes.
going to do a live virtual listening party very soon where we'll be listening to the tracks. We'll be talking about the music. And that is coming up really soon. So stay tuned for that. We just had a little technical difficulties, but we're working on that. So,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. But in the meantime, go ahead and download it. It's available wherever you get your music. It's Kodi Maurice, Thing of Beauty, new EP out now. And just get it. It's so good. So
Thank you,
great.
boo. Yes.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
I love it. So I hope other people love it as
Oh,
well.
we love it. Yeah. We were at a
Yay.
private little listening party the other night, and I just loved hearing it on the playlist. That was so
Yes.
great. So, yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get into tonight's talk where we are. It really was sparked by my birthday, and we're calling this Aging Gay, What Actually Matters, from health to sex to connection and confidence. Just to throw out my new app, Connection and Confidence. I think those were themes that were coming up late last year in 2025, how people really want to connect, want to meet solid relationships, whether it's dating or friendships. And tonight we're really just being honest and talking about aging as gay men, our fears, stereotypes, invisibility, and how growing older can actually bring clarity, confidence, and even better sex. All of those topics will be covered tonight. So let's just get started. Aging is kind of a privilege when you think about it, Kodi, in our particular community. I mean, the fact that many of us didn't always imagine ourselves getting older, and that
hmm
has to do with a lot of things. HIV was one of them. But today isn't about getting older. It's really about getting clearer, as I like to say. And hopefully you'll feel the same way after you hear us talk. Well, let's just get into it because we were talking in our meeting, Kodi, about part of our community can be youth obsessed within our gay culture. And when you shift things from a youth obsessed gay culture to things like validation and self assurance, what does that mean to you?
Yeah. It just means that you start to think less frivolously and that you don't hold youth, which is so fleeting because we all get older. Like the point of life is to get older and make it to
Yeah.
the the next stage of life, and really focusing on what's important, which is and what is more, in my opinion, valuable. Because youth has its benefits, but ultimately those things are going to go away, and what you're going to have left is your knowledge, it's going to have your experience, it's going to have how you relate to other people. So I think that all of that is so valuable, and as we grow older we have to put more emphasis on that.
Yeah, and for me, I think I was always so when I was recently came upon some pictures that I had taken in my 20s when I lived in San Francisco, and boy, I wish I had the confidence that I have now
hmm
because those I did not have confidence when I walked into a room, when I I was a go-go dancer, and I still didn't have the confidence that I have now. Now I look at those pictures and I'm like, you should have had the confidence because you look like amazing. I mean, I'm happy with the way I look and the way I'm
Yeah.
aging and all of that good stuff. But it's funny when you don't realize how good you look at a certain period because you're so consumed with trying to fit in and all of those things that often, not for all of us, but for many of us, come with aging. And now I can walk into a room confidently. I can give a speech. We can do this show where we talk
Yeah.
openly about our sex and relationships honestly, and I don't really blink an eye with it anymore. It's just what we do, and I think it's just because of age, and I've just been out for so long that, and it was funny because when I was watching Heated Rivalry, they are younger in that series and dealing with a whole sports world that is hyper masculine. And I could relate to that back even on the gymnastic team the same thing. Everybody thinks that gymnasts are totally out and gay, and they're not. I was feeling a lot of what they felt, but I was their age group back then. And I just think that
Ah,
it's now I'm so much more confident when I, like I said, go out, meet people. I can give a firm handshake. I can look into people's eyes. And it's just really refreshing, I think, when you embrace that wherever you are at with your age. Are you
yeah.
confident when you were out there in these streets? Now you have an EP out, you're meeting guys left and
No.
right.
I am beating guys left and right, but still, there's like a small piece of me that is wondering if they really find me attractive, if am I that attractive? All of that I have less confidence in, like the attractiveness part of it. But you were talking about like confidence in your sexuality. That I have in spades. I can go out and just be myself completely, and I think that that has really grown as I've gotten older. In my intelligence, I have complete confidence. I could talk to anybody about a myriad of things, and
Any
I
topic.
exactly. So I feel like for me, maybe I need to work more on that. And I've focused a lot more on those other things and making sure that I was more confident in other areas, and I need to become more confident in my looks. I was just looking at, there's a 2016 challenge.
Uh,
Um,
I hate these
where you
challenges.
well, this one is a good it has a correlation to what we're talking about right now. And I was looking back at old pictures so I could just do this challenge about how I looked then versus now, and I don't look that different. Number one, we're gonna just put that out there. I got some more gray hair, but I also was just thinking, looking at the pictures, like, damn, this boy did not know how attractive he was back then.
Yeah.
And that's just really so sad. I think I'm doing better than I was back then, but I still have some ways to go, and that's okay. I'm growing every day.
That is definitely okay, and, I mean, I think we feared about aging back in the day, and a lot of it we were talking the other day on my birthday with our other co-host, Lincoln,
Mhm.
about just our health, and many of the reasons we were so fearful was things like HIV, and I don't know if
Yeah,
you dealt with it that much, but Lincoln and I were sharing that back in the day when it was a death sentence to get HIV tested. And
yeah,
he and I were sharing stories where your insurance, if you had it at the time, didn't cover things like STI or HIV testing. And the reason you wouldn't get tested for HIV back then was because if you were positive, it could then mean you could get dropped from your insurance.
yeah,
So many of us would go to the free clinics back in the day, and I remember going to those, or we would put it off and not tell our doctors about that particular test. And we lived in such fear. And I got to think that li- first of all, we know that living in fear or anxiety ages us, right? And so for
mhm,
many of us, living in that could not have been a good thing. And I'm just so glad that now things like PrEP and your general practitioner, you can get tested for these things, or you can get things like Mr. where it's free if you don't have insurance. And we've taken that equation out of you. People are living with HIV before, like I said, I remember it was such a death sentence for that.
yeah. I remember that part where if back in the day it was so stigmatized because it was looked at as a death sentence. But when you told me that you couldn't even get tested because your insurance would drop you, my mind was blown. I could not believe that something like that would happen in that time, in that day and time, especially when people were so in need of services and being treated and things of that nature. So yeah, I couldn't believe that. I'm glad that we've come such a long way.
Yeah.
Um, but it's kind of scary that there might be a chance that we might go back. So we just all need to keep an eye on that, so to make sure that we don't tread back to those old ways because yeah, they
That's why
don't
I
sound
mentioned
fun.
things like Mister, where you can
Yeah,
still to
exactly.
this day get it without having insurance. You can get it for free. And I just think programs like that need to keep coming up. We are live. It is my birthday episode. Happy birthday to me. We are live with Malibu says, watching us live, says age is a number, life experiences, relationships, travel, books, and developing a joyful positive outlook all make us stronger and confident. You all put a ton of emphasis on appearance, which is cool to a point. And I say our culture often does, and social media puts an emphasis on that. And that is just kind of reflective of culture and society in general. But aging gracefully, I think, is always good, and taking care of yourself. And our health, I think, becomes so much more important. I think on my birthday, I was talking about that with Lincoln, how you, at a certain point, I didn't really worry about my health back in the day too much, other than living in anxiety about getting the HIV test. I just
Hmm.
felt like, oh, I'm breezing through. And he was saying that it's so important, if we could impart one set of wisdom today, is to get checked up regularly in your younger years so that you set up a pathway to
In a
making
pattern.
normalizing it, and get your
Hmm.
blood work checked, get your testosterone checked, and all those things. And then we've had Dr. Goldstein on the show, and you were sharing something at my birthday too.
I
What was,
did,
yeah.
yeah. So getting older, I don't know if it's really getting older, but this is the first time I had to deal with anything like this. I had surgery not too long ago, and it was for a fistula. I didn't say anything
And
back
explain
then when
to
I was
people,
going
because I
through it.
had a fistula and
Mhm.
talked about it on the show, but it was a long time ago. But for those that don't know, it's a blockage, correct?
It's a blockage in your anal passage. It's in one of the it makes a tunnel basically from your inside of your anal cavity to the outside of like one of your butt cheeks, I believe, and it
Where
formed
a
an
tunnel
abscess on my
shouldn't
fist.
be. So it ends
Exactly.
up looking like what many people misdiagnose as an
As an
abscess.
abscess, yes.
Or, yeah.
So, I was misdiagnosed with an abscess. I was dealing with it for, quite a while. The doctor was like, "You've been dealing with this for a long time," because apparently it was pretty big, and he did what he had to do. I'm
Because what had
healing
happens
right
is
now.
it's pooling and pooling with like a fluid,
Yeah.
and on the
I'm
outside,
trying not to get too graphic, Steve. You're
well, I'm just so people
like
understand, because I had it and it was misdiagnosed, and we want our
Yes.
listeners to know this kind of things, and that's why
Yeah,
it's
I was on a
important to get checked with somebody like a proctologist that can look at this stuff. Even if you don't have that, he can look at that anal cavity and just see how you are doing. But go on, yeah.
Yeah, so I went to the ER and that's where I got diagnosed with it. My doctor didn't even really he was giving me antibiotics and then it ruptured and he sent me to the ER immediately. And that's where the ER physician was like, "Oh, I've seen so many of these." And I think it's more about the doctor knowing exactly what it looks like and having that experience and knowledge because I don't think that my general practitioner had seen it ever. So I I don't blame him,
I don't
but I
either with
do feel
mine.
like I
Yeah.
should have gotten a second opinion on that because it did go on for quite some time. Like it was more than 4 months. It was probably about 6 months that I had that abscess on my butt, and it didn't hurt, but it was not a pretty sight. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I
and
wasn't
it's
bottoming.
not
I
something
don't
that you
bottom
want to
anyway.
go on for long and long, and that's why the importance, I mean, when we think about how far we've come with our health, and then you think about gay health, and we're a relatively young species, as I'll just call it for lack of a better term, in that we haven't really studied. I was just talking about a story to you and Lincoln the other day about in the 90s, they did a whole study, an MRI study, where they put a couple. Now, of course, the couple was heterosexual, and they
Hmm.
did it so that they could actually look at a man and a woman and what's really going on during sex. And of course, as you know, an MRI can really get deep dive and look at all those things. It was this
Yeah.
breakthrough study. Recently become popular on TikTok again. But of course, like I said, it wasn't a gay couple. And when we talk about our gay health, things like a Dr. Goldstein, a proctologist that really knows that area that's specific to our gay health is relatively new study. There aren't a lot of doctors out there that are looking at this stuff, and we're having particular types of sex that is amazing, and we now have drugs and things that can keep us from not getting STIs,
Yes.
preventing things like HIV, and keeping, if you are living with HIV, at bay. But we don't have enough doctors and enough conversations about what's really going on. And that's why I think it's so important to talk about these things that relate to our specific health, because it's a newer industry that needs further research, and
Hmm.
hopefully we'll get that with the likes of doctors like Dr. Goldstein.
That's right. Shout out
I
to Dr.
mentioned
Goldstein.
we are live. Doug says, as we're talking about on my birthday episode, Doug says, as I've gotten older, I've gotten more confident in myself. And now when I go out, I am just myself, because at this age, I don't care what others think of me. I do think that's one of like the things nobody tells you about, is that one of the benefit is hopefully you will not care what people think about you. You'll speak your mind a little bit more.
Yeah.
And like in my case, I've been speaking my mind for years, but I've actually done a little bit of reverse where I've settled down. In other words, I don't need to be right like I used to have to be in my 30s and 40s, where I had to make a point and everybody had to, in my group, that they had to know that I had to be right. Now I've so much calmed down with that. And I think I can confidently listen to so many other opinions and give my confident opinion, but not with the goal of you will know that I am right. And I think that's really one of the beautiful things of getting older with that.
Yeah. Just letting go of those insecurities about so many things, because I think that we as people, we build up different insecurities and ways of guarding ourselves, and just letting that go is probably letting any of those defense mechanisms go is something that really is so beautiful to me as I get older.
So when we talk about aging and we talk about our sexual health, we tapped in it a little bit with things like STIs, things that are out there, like, of course, PrEP, conversations without shame. But then we get into, say, mental health and things
Mhm.
like loneliness, depression, body image can be a really big one. And then what you couldn't maybe do before that really can put emphasis on aging, like sleep, stress, alcohol, drugs, all of those things, your hormones. Are you getting tested on how is your testosterone levels? Your libido could change. And all those things, I feel aging isn't really about decline. It's kind of about maintenance, awareness, and so forth. What
Maintenance
do you
on
say
these
to all
knees.
that?
Well, I agree with you. I think that that is part and parcel of, aging. You had to check up regularly on all the things, because they can go awry so quickly. So I agree
Yeah.
with you. You had to check up on your testosterone. That's super important. My knees are they're not mega knees anymore. I can't get down low to the ground hardly anymore. It takes a little bit more, but definitely take
You can
in
get down,
fish
you just need
oil.
help up.
And they're always willing to help me up, so good for them. Good
See,
on
there you
them. Thank you,
go.
boys.
Absolutely. Bryce, hi, Bryce, says, do we fear? This is a good question, actually, posing on this topic. Do we fear aging, or is the anxiety rooted in not finding a life partner before we're culturally deemed past desirability? And the thing I would say to that is I got married at 54. So, no, I think with confidence came my story that I've told on this show where I was confidently in taking care of myself, feeling good about myself in other ways, that I went up to Diego and sparked a conversation. And he loves to tell the story that I told his friend. I said this, he will be my boyfriend. And be careful what you wish for because not only boyfriend, but
It's one
husband.
step further. Jeez Louise.
And I don't know that I was really ready for that commitment so many years in my 30s and 40s. And I don't know that you need to also be quote unquote, there's a perfect right time because hopefully we're
Mhm.
always growing. And hopefully with your partner, you find somebody that you can grow together with, grow with your own personal things and they're working on their things as well, but then you're growing as a partnership too in sex, and we'll get more into sex in a second. But yeah, I mean, for me, I felt desirable because I think the confidence came in for me. But what do you think about? I mean, you're in a different phase now.
Yeah,
Your EP is, if we don't want to give it all away, but it is
my
about a
baby.
past relationship.
It
And
is, yeah.
you're out on these streets now.
Am I in
What
the streets, honey? Am I a streetwalker? Jesus,
I'm in the
jeez.
Upper East Side of streets, but yeah.
Yeah, I am in a different place. I don't know that I'm really worried about finding a partner past even right now. Past when I'm
Yeah.
desirable right now, I'm like not even looking for that right in this moment. But I did admit that earlier that I still have some issues with self confidence as far as my looks are concerned. But self-image is a spectrum, and it's so many things wrapped up into one. And I definitely know with my whole heart that no matter what I look like, somebody's going to want to buy it. So I don't really believe in culturally deemed past desirability because I could be 85 and some old man out there is going to want to boo me up. It does not matter. That is something that I believe with my entirety and my whole being because uh yeah, so that may be true, but I don't agree with the whole when I am ready to find a partner, I know that there will be somebody out there that is checking for me too.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question because I do think in some ways we're no different from our heterosexual counterparts in that,
Mhm.
you know, are we waiting for some of us maybe that want kids, that could be a different story, although I know
Yeah.
people and even heteros that you can have them later in life. And I do think that in some ways we do mirror our heterosexual counterparts too, because there is a youth obsessed culture out there that
Yeah.
does exist, and we don't want to act like that doesn't exist. What I would say to it is for me personally, I've always tried to take care of myself. A lot of that has to do with health and getting checked up more on the inside. But then, of course, if anyone wants like what I do for my skin and all that, like I am all about taking care of my skin and making sure I love, I was a former athlete. And when you've been an athlete for years and years and years, I think that parlays into not doing what I did gymnastics, but the gym and yoga and stretching. And so I do those things. I'm not what I was, but I still take care of myself. And then you combine that with confidence, you bring all that to the table. And so wherever you are at, you just have to kind of feel confident with yourself and
Yeah.
feel good about yourself. And hopefully it's aligning with your own personal confidence, and if you bring that to the table, I think you will meet somebody because you're going to be very attractive. And
Yeah.
it
Just do the
can
work.
you're not perfect, it's a work in progress, I think is what we
That's
really
right.
need to emphasize is
Yep.
and that's always a question too. Oh, I'll meet somebody when I'm this. When I lose 10 pounds, then I'll start to look for somebody. When I and no, you just go now. You can still have your goals, but not when I get that job that I think will no, I think you should just start looking if you feel
because
you are ready to date now.
there's always gonna be something. Me as a
Always.
human being, I always am gonna be striving for more. So that whole "when I'm this" is a fallacy, and it's a way for you to isolate yourself from other people. So, do it right now. Do it while you're scared. Do it while you're not who you wanna be in the world because you're complete and you're worthy of love right in this moment. That's my
And of
little
That's the I like that. Well, let's talk about sex because I was reading something that does sex have, women often get better with age. Like I think the 40s can be like some quote unquote their peak years. I think with gay men, do we have peak years where we are, I think testosterone can be a thing. And that's why we always say on this show, get your testosterone checked. Not every doctor always puts that on the blood work when you get your
Mhm.
physical, but get that checked because that can really affect certain things and your desires. And then things like intimacy, touch, and emotion, how we feel emotionally, communication over perfection, and then things like our porn consumption and what we actually expect sex to look like. And I think we were talking a lot about it in 2025 and even with Lincoln and Jeremy that we all want to be more connected in
Yep.
sex, whether it's we're looking for a partner in your case or just having fun
Oh, I
or
don't have to look for partners for sex.
yeah, right,
I
exactly.
got the roster. I got the Rolodex.
Or you're in Jeremy, our co-host, said that he's looking at 2026 with being more connected, and they are connected, him and his partner, but that sexually, like trying new things. And Diego and I continue to want to try new things and have more connected sex, and it's been really intense recently, and that's really good. We've also
Yeah.
played with other people at times, and that's been a lot of fun. And in places like the New York Eagle, and then we come home and have really hot sex together, and that's really fun as well. We did that, I think, on the day we were celebrating my birthday. Oh my gosh, I kept telling Diego, get this guy's Instagram, get this guy's Instagram. And we were making out with different guys and boyfriends of other guys, and it was a happy, fun mess. But we ultimately had that fun in the club, and then we went home and had really hot sex together. And it was just like, we were just reflecting on it the next day. We're like, do you remember talking to that guy? We had to remind each other. And then
That's
Diego
always
says, why did you
fun.
keep making me get everyone's Instagram? I'm like, I don't know, for future reference. So we remember these people.
That's
So
right.
it's, yeah, but that's been working for us and that's been fun. We're obviously not doing that all the time, but it did make for a fun birthday hoopla, if you will.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, sex has only gotten better. I've gotten more explorative. I've gotten less afraid and more confident in who I am sexually. And also, my libido, I feel like it's shot up in these past couple of years. I don't know, it's because I'm going to the gym more and testosterone is increasing. But you know what? Like as soon as I hit 40, I feel like I was just always trying to get a nut.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been good and it's going great. So we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you updated.
And I guess it's a good question to maybe ponder. If you were to speak to your younger gay self, what would you say? And if I was to speak to my younger gay self, I think I would say, well, I would say relaxed on the anxiety, as my husband always tells me, breathe, as he likes to say, breathe. And I still need help on that. But I am starting, thanks to our sometimes co-host here, Sebastian Lacaz, and I'm going to put where you can get his morning meditations that help me breathe and set a tone for the day, which I think is really important. But I would tell my younger self that breathe a little bit more
Yeah.
and you've got this. What would
Yeah.
you tell your younger self?
Well, Mother Roo, let me tell you.
Mama Ru.
Well, Mama Roo, I would tell little Cody that he's beautiful and just realize that you're beautiful, honey, and you know who you
We should have put
are.
our pictures up from when we were
Oh my god, can you imagine? That
I
would be
know.
fantastic. And you know who you are, baby, so just step into who you are and who you wanna be in there, and just don't be afraid, do it unabashedly, so, yeah, that's what I would tell my younger self.
It really is a great question to ask gay men. A great question for anybody. If you're ever at a party or a birthday party, I think it's a fun one to ask the group because it's reflective and you can just really kind of think about it. But for gay men, I think a lot of us had tumultuous at times or blocks. And I mean, look at heated rivalry. I mean, it would be interesting to down the road those characters to ask them what would they tell because they're living in such, times where they just feel like one of them's Russian and he can't talk to his father and
Yeah,
and the whole family and the brother situation. And then another one has this nobody in hockey is out and he has contracts that pay
contracts,
like him a lot of money and
and
there's
an overbearing mother.
an overbearing although she turns out okay in the end
No,
when
she's super sweet,
when
but the
she
pressure of
the
not
press
knowing
yeah
and, like, being able to guess, like, all you have
yeah
is your imagination when it comes to how they're gonna react, and
yeah
she's a down ass bitch, so I'm here for it.
I
Just
love
call her a
it.
down ass bitch.
We want to know how you feel, what age are you at, and how are you feeling about aging? Thanks for you guys listening to tonight. But let's keep this conversation going because it stemmed from my birthday, always a reflective time. But we as gay men, I think, all should take those times to reflect on. We have so much to offer. We are different stages of our lives of either having fun, relationships, combining all of that together. Our health is very specific and unique to us. And yeah, I just think let's keep the conversation going on our tags Patreon community and go to patreon.com/tags podcast. We'll keep this going on all week and maybe read some more comments. But was there something that came in right now that you wanted
Yeah,
to
Doug
read?
says he says, "I think I would tell my younger self not to date that one boy in college because he turns out to be so full of himself." And I have a
Oh,
whole
we all
list
have
of
those college moments.
So, thank you, Doug. Yes, let's warn our let's write
You know what's
letters to our
interesting about
past
those
selves.
early college? We could probably all have a heated rivalry series when you look at it because it's drama. It's probably
Yeah,
some of the hottest moments that you can imagine. There was extreme anxiety, but then there was the drama end of it too. And we gays know how to have those moments for sure. We could probably, if we were to get down to pen and paper, write down our own version of a story that would just be fun to watch, but not without much strife on ourselves, but could be very cathartic in many ways too. So
oh,
I hear you,
definitely.
Doug, and thank you for sharing. Well, Adrian, let's keep these going.
Let's
Um,
go. I
I would
love
t-
this.
I would tell my Adrian says watching us live tonight on a Wednesday night. I would tell my younger gay self, own your truth and don't let what others say get to you. Oh my God,
Beautiful.
such a big one when I used to care so much. I mean, you still care
I still
what people
care.
think on a certain level, and there's a healthy dose of that, and then there
Mhm.
is you're so
Boom.
timid and shy, and I used to have a quiver in my throat when I was around straight guys having conversations, like, and I couldn't get rid of it. It was just I always were worried they're gonna think I'm gay, they're gonna notice that I'm gay, they're gonna say this, and then and what's gonna happen, and all of that was churning in my brain, but not allowing me to just be present and authentic. And now it's like, "Honey,
Really,
here
bitch?
I am." The
I
floodgates
got
are
something to say.
open, you take it or leave it. Not without my 30s and 40s, where then I think I went the other extreme for a period where then I was like, "Oh, now you're gonna hear from me," and I was always the one at the dinner party, a little bit more outspoken and causing a little bit of chaos, and
Kerfuffle.
now I've somehow balanced it all out, and they do say Capricorns, they say, quote unquote, that Capricorns are like a fine wine. And I do love wine that we get
Oh,
better and better with age. So we balance
definitely.
out, the tannins are a little lighter. We're ready to drink and consume. So yeah, that's me, like a fine red wine. That's what I'm telling myself.
I
We're going
have
with
to
that.
figure out what kind
Let's
of liquor I am as a Cancer.
keep those
Probably
conversations.
a malt liquor.
Yes, keep them coming. We'll read them throughout the show, or of course, we'll read them throughout the week because we've got more shows coming your way. But now it's time to get into hot topics, and I couldn't remember if we talked about this initial one, but it's easy to go over. There was a
Mhm.
Maryland man during the
Oh,
holidays that decided to go grocery shopping, and a woman who decided to verbally attack him based on the way he was dressed. She basically said that get get your gay ass out of here. What are you wearing? Why are you showing up like this? Correct? And
yeah. And, like,
verbally
was physically assaulting him too.
she was coming at him and pushing her way as he's simply trying to buy his groceries in this Alexandria, Virginia grocery store, and the person was basically attacked, right? It was a hate crime anyway you, and she ultimately left, and she did assault him in many ways.
Yeah.
She has been caught, and this is where it's because he was filming it and put it on TikTok and said, if you see this woman, he actually talk about not letting it equal and getting, I almost would have pushed back in many ways. If someone's like pushing my cart and coming at me and she said, get out of here, I would almost push my cart at her, which would probably escalate the situation. I don't know. But I think I would do that today, actually. Yeah. 40s, 50s, or whatever. Or like,
She might have got slapped if she was doing that to me because she was very
slapped.
aggressive, and, I'm not here for so I no, I can't take any of that, and I don't think that that's okay what she did. She was basically just jealous of him because I saw a picture of him
And it
and
was on
his
Christmas Day,
ass
too.
his ass was so juicy and fat. It was just
Oh.
I don't want to like sexualize him because this is a hate crime and I want to, be empathetic towards him. But if he needs somebody to, rub on him a little bit, can he call me please? Because he was very beautiful. But he wasn't dressed sexually. He had on sweats. It was just the way that his body was shaped. She
She said
decided that
things like, "Boy, get out of here with your gay ass." The post was viewed more than 6 million times. She said, "I'm sick of this gay shit, bro," and put on some clothes, she told
he had on all the
him.
clothes, by the way.
Well, ultimately, by putting that out there, January 8th, because people said, if you see this woman, because she fled the scene, and turns out she was caught on January 8th, arrested, did not have registration for her car, was arrested for assault and a few other charges too. So I
Mhm.
bet she's is, karma. This is a
I think
true case of karma. And if you watch the video, I will post this on our Tags Patreon community because it's it's really unnerving when you watch how she came after him, and it will bring up, if you've ever felt homophobia at all, it will bring up all those emotions that you maybe felt in the past, and you want to slap her.
yeah.
And right.
Yeah, I'm just glad that that she was charged and that there's been repercussions for her harassing a gay man.
Yeah, but she's been caught. Adrienne, watching us live, said, I'm sorry I saw that video. This is just another case of dumb people who are miserable without hesitation. She would have been scalped if she did this to me. Enough is enough. Bryce says, agreed. I would have gotten her life together. Yeah. I mean, it's just good to know that karma does come around, and recording things, can people on the internet, the sleuths are out there, and she is now where she belongs. So take that. In other news, Matt Rogers of La Culturistas, you guys know Matt Rogers. He is
Unfortunately.
co-host with Bo and Yang on the podcast I just mentioned, and they talk about everything. They've been getting a lot of bad press. on a recent episode when they were talking about Democratic U.S. Rep Jasmine Crockett, who's running for her state's Senate seat in Texas. So she's a current U.S. Rep, Jasmine Crockett, running for state Senate in Texas. And they decided to tackle that. Well, Matt did at least, sharing his feelings about the Texas Democratic rep. She is black. That is important to mention if you haven't seen her on news. I've seen her talk about things, and he basically says, I don't think he basically said, do not give your money to her. Do not, she doesn't have a chance of winning. She's doing this all for appearances, I think what he said. Do not endorse her. Do not give your money to her. And it did not go over well, did it, Cody?
Oh my God. I've been like trying to hold in all my responses because this, for me, this is wild. I can't believe that Matt Rogers would say something like this and have it go. He had so many
I think he's gotten a
opportunities.
little too, and it's awful for to say that about gay men, like you're getting too comfortable. But here's why I say that. I say
Okay.
that because it would be different if they were a political podcast. It would be
Mm-hmm.
different if they lived in the state of Texas, which neither one of them
Mm-hmm.
do. Jasmine Crockett has been getting a lot of press. She's been on a lot of shows talking about running for U.S. Senate and why she wants to, and she's been very outspoken. And I think she has a very. I love the moment when she told Margaret Taylor
Marjorie Taylor
Greene,
Greene.
called her a blonde, a bleached blonde. I don't have the full quote, but it was
Head
brilliant.
body bitch.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Oh,
And she
maybe she
can
didn't say
stand up
bitch.
for herself.
Maybe I added that.
It would be as almost we started to endorse or talk about you can talk about a candidate without telling somebody, "Do not give your money to that candidate."
Yep.
But I think where it drew the line was a white man telling a that has nothing to do with politics and say, "Do not vote for this woman. Do not give your money to them." To a black candidate, any candidate really, but I don't know. What do you say to this?
Yeah, he and the thing for me, he had so many this is pre-recorded. They had so many opportunities to take this out. Bowen Yang had so many opportunities to defend a minority because gay people. I don't know if Matt Rogers knows, but he's a minority. But this for me, it only highlights how prevalent racism is in the gay community because I've seen the discourse around how white good men consistently choose whiteness or in the comfort of white supremacy over our collective struggles as marginalized people. And for me, this is only really highlights it because he had, like I said, every opportunity to talk highly about her or to even stay out of the conversation altogether. And he chose to highlight a someone that he deems is more valuable and more able to win based on the demographic, not based on their knowledge, not based on who's being more outspoken and about the issues that we're dealing with right now. He just spoke highly of Talarico just because he's a white man and a white man only. So
Well, one of the things that he said was, quote, "Anytime a
I'm hot.
politician is making it about themselves, I'm already done. Don't waste your money sending to Jasmine Crockett. Do not do it." And Bowen said, "I must agree." Rogers added that he believed Crockett, who represents Texas' 30th congressional district since 2023, was too, quote unquote, well defined to win the
What the
election.
hell does that mean?
What does that even mean? Yeah, I feel like you don't know what you're talking about. And I mean, part of being a politician is getting your name out there. You have to do this. And it just did not sit well with so many people, also because she's black and a
Yeah.
white man's commenting on that. But anybody really, it's just, yeah. We have people, of course, thanks to Adrian and Bryce, reminding us of Jasmine Crockett's when she talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene. The quote was bleach blonde, bad built, butch body. And
Yeah.
it was brilliant, right?
Yeah, it's so good. She's so smart. But I think that this should be a wake up call to everyone out there that to look at your own privilege because even me,
Yeah.
I benefit from white supremacy. I'm a light skinned person, so I definitely have more privileges than or society views me as quote unquote better than more dark skinned people. So everybody has privilege. This should be a wake up call to not punch down on people and to really see where you land and how you can mitigate your effect on white supremacy in the system.
Yeah,
Done and
and
done.
just to give you the update, both Matt and Bowen took himself off of social media because of all the the commentary. He just like silenced it all, but came back and said he will do better and realized what this caused. Matt said my phrasing wasn't right
Not an apology.
and didn't really say a whole much more, I don't believe,
Nope.
to he said, I hear the responses and I'm taking every bit of it to heart, I promise. Transparency and candor matter to me, especially on the podcast. I'm a very progressive person who cares deeply about winning these elections, but my phrasing was not right. I will be more thoughtful. I really do promise. I have great respect and admiration for Representative Crockett, and I regret that my words suggested otherwise. I just want us to win, and I will be better at finding ways to help. I
Well, that
mean,
just sounds
oh,
to me like he believes what he said still, and yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Let us know how you feel on that. I think we have time for one more hot topic. Well, we all know Joel Kim Booster, and he married John Michael Sudsina after being together for 4 years. They did it in San Francisco. If you remember last year, they got engaged, and they did it in San Francisco at the I believe it was the Exploratorium, excuse me, in San Francisco, a really cool place to get married. And what I loved about it was you sent me the clip, and it was a clip of the two of them as a couple from Once in My Life together. And I'm like, child, I was ahead of that when not only did I
The
just
song
put
by
that on a
Stevie Wonder.
post, the
Yes,
song by Stevie Wonder, Kodi Maurice sang that at my wedding. And yeah, we did that before you, snaps
that's right.
on my part. But
It was just so cute
congratulations
to
to
me.
them.
It was just like it
It
lined
was
up. I was like,
cute, but I liked
"Oh."
my wedding better, but that's gonna be my shade, but yeah. But it was
That's
cute.
totally fine.
It
Congratulations to
was cute.
them, though.
Matt
They're
Rogers was
beautiful.
also at that wedding, so if it helps my cause out. Matt
No,
and
we're not talking
Bowen
about
were
her no
also
more.
at that
We're not talking
wedding.
about those queens anymore. Congratulations to Joel Kim and his beautiful husband. I hear they're open.
Yeah,
Give your boy a call.
yeah. And we have to shout out the one and only Wanda Sykes because recently on, did you guys all watch the Golden Globes? They were pretty good, I thought. I really liked them. And Wanda Sykes did not take an opportunity to not only wear a lapel pin that said "Be Good" based on what happened to Renee Good when she lost her life, sadly, and but she said when she announced the winner to Best Comedy Show, essentially,
Mhm,
and she had a lot to say about each candidate. The one that won that wasn't there was Ricky Gervais. And if you know anything about Ricky Gervais on his special, I used to really be a fan of his, but in his last several specials, he's talked about negatively about the trans community. And she said, out of all of the candidates that were nominated, she says, I hope Ricky Gervais wins because I will accept his award and I will be thanking God and the trans community on his behalf. Well, lo and behold, Ricky Gervais did win the category, and she did just what she said she would do. And I thought, if you watched it live, I was snapping. I was like,
yeah.
brilliant, right? It's like you almost
Oh,
wanted him
yeah.
to win,
Yeah.
even though he spoke such ill of the trans community. It's like, stop again, like you said before, punching down on a very underrepresented small percentage
Mhm.
of the
Exactly.
people in the world. And take that to who's the other comedian that does that all the time too?
Dave
That can
Chappelle?
Dave Chappelle, who continues to
That's the
win awards
thing.
as well.
That's another thing, back to Matt Rogers. If we can call out Ricky Gervais, Dave Chappelle, Snoop Dogg, then we should be able to call out this motherfucker too. All right, I
Which
don't
we
wanna
have in the
purge.
past, right? We've talked about it on the
Exactly.
show. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
yes.
yeah, so, like, it's all even, we're critical if people are not supporting our community. That's it. That there.
Absolutely. Keep these conversations going. We love it. And it's time to get into advice. We are always here for you. We will give our handles at the end of the show, or you can go to the website, tagspodcast.com, our Tags Patreon community, and ask us for sex and relationship advice. We're here for you in 2026, but this one came from Reddit when they wrote, "Am I using sex as a means to an end?" I have a couple relationship experiences, and all of them started as hookups, they wrote. Then, once I securely attach to them, lose interest in sex. I still find them sexually attractive and get turned on by them, but I never get motivated to follow through to the end with sex. It hit me that I might not be the most sexual person, but I use sex to initially attract a partner or as a cure for loneliness. As soon as I have a partner and the loneliness is gone, I lose interest in sex. And they were wondering if anybody else had that experience. They also wanted people to know another factor is that so far, all of their partners consider themselves as exclusive tops, while I realistically consider myself a versatile bottom based on my sexual history. I probably would be more verse if I didn't attract tops. I do enjoy
Mm.
bottoming. The amount of work it takes a lot of time. There is actually, we've talked about it before, Cody, of people that will they're only attracted to people as long as they have can get them, and once they are in the relationship, they lose all sexual interest, and it's like an
Yeah.
actual psychological thing that if you wanted to work on that, I would actually see a sex therapist for something like that. And this
Yep.
sort of sounds like that, and we're certainly not diagnosing people here, but it would be
We're saying go
something.
see a therapist.
We're saying go see a therapist is really our main thing, but because me, what are your thoughts? That would be really my advice on that one because it's sounds like a pattern.
Yeah, definitely, and it's so specific. I think that they definitely should go see a therapist because it could be that, but also I feel like there is a lot of this person relating to bottoming as work because he said in like the very last sentence that it takes a lot for him to actually bottom. So I think that when you relate to sex as work, then it takes that much more for you to want to get into it. So it could be a couple different things like we were saying before, go see a therapist. We're not therapists. We're not going to diagnose you. We're not going to give you advice. Going to give you advice that you should probably take. You should probably go see a therapist.
Yeah, it's just once they obtain the relationship with this person that they think they use their sexuality to get, they then lose interest in sex.
Yeah,
He did add that part at the end, and maybe that could be something to look at.
it's
But
probably
because
both,
it's so
honestly.
yeah, it could be both, and something to look at, but probably a really good thing that they put this out there. I think once you put something on paper, or in this case, Reddit, you can then you're putting it out there in the universe that you want the help to look at yourself, and that needs to be commended on that portion of it because it sounds
Definitely,
like
he
they
wants
don't
to
want
work
this
on it.
pattern to continue.
Yeah, I can see that because not only is he kind of doing harm to himself, he's also doing harm to the other person because as someone who went through kind of like some being with someone with a different like sexual desire than me, to be rejected so often, well, to be rejected often it does a number on your self-esteem. So I understand where he's coming from, but I also know that for his partners, this could be something that could be way heavy on there.
Absolutely. Let us know what you think on that one. We have another one from Reddit where it's entitled A Pair of Tops Struggling with Sex. Okay. Both in our late 30s, both tops, dating for 4 years, have been in monogamy. Sex wasn't so much of an issue at the beginning, mostly siding. Remember, we've talked about siding
Oh
where
yeah.
it's not penetration, and I would try bottoming even though isn't my cup of tea. I communicated my desire to top him because that's what I enjoy in bed. It's not working though. It feels like a sacrifice every time we try to have sex, and I can tell he doesn't enjoy it. I'm not happy with sex life at the moment. I propose opening up the relationship sexually to avoid frustration. With lots of communication and rules, he doesn't want it. I'm not sure what to do because I love this man, but the sexual frustration is really affecting me. Mismatched libido, also a problem, as you can tell. I think it wouldn't be much if we're a match sexually, but that obviously plays a big role in it. We love receiving orals, but not giving, for example, so it's not just penetration. That's interesting to me. Again, I feel like seeing a sex therapist because it's so like this person loves that person,
Yeah.
but I do feel that you should be able to talk to your partner and find those moments. And like something that we do is we do take time out to check in with each other in my relationship to see how we're doing. And that could be everything that's going on in including sex. And I think you have
Yeah.
to do that. You probably shouldn't feel like you have to go to Reddit. You should be able to talk to your partner about what's going on. And it sounds like they do have something good, but they're not realizing what's like they're not hearing each other. What do you say to this?
Yeah, definitely go see a sex therapist. While I do agree with you that he should be able to go to his partner about this, I want to say that Reddit is probably a safer sounding board first, so he can kind of get his thoughts together, which I think is very healthy because maybe he doesn't even know exactly how he's feeling about this. So maybe bouncing ideas off of somebody else is a good idea. I think with this, he should definitely see it as my official recommendation is that they go see a sex therapist so that they could
Yeah,
they can work things out. But for me personally, I would probably give it up. I would have given
you
up a
would.
long time ago before
Yeah,
I even caught feelings because this sounds like it's too much work. Like the last one, it was like, oh, it's going to be work in order to
yeah.
get through it. But
And
this one is it's ah man, it would be a struggle for me.
well, here's the thing. It's entitled A Pair of Tops.
Yeah,
They are, to your point, younger, if you will, since we're talking about age, it's the birthday episode, both in our late 30s. That's young to me. So
yeah.
maybe they should move
Thank you.
on. And the next line was both tops dating for 4 years. You notice that he didn't say in a relationship for 4 years. Both
Mm,
tops dating for 4 years. Now, maybe that was just a play on words and or how it was. They've said they've been monogamous, but I do think, two tops don't make a right at times. There are things you
or a
can do like
left,
or a left or yeah, and
or
so
in and out,
if
or
you're
up
that
and down.
if you're that strict with being one position, two tops probably don't make it right, and they probably are frustrated internally. The other one's probably struggling. I do think that they should have a conversation, whether it's with a therapist or just together, and find out, hey, what's going on here? Is this salvageable in any way, shape, or form? And then go from there. They are so young. I feel, of course, that might sound patronizing to them, but I do think they could, run and find somebody that's a little bit more compatible and be a lot more happier.
Yeah, if they're willing to open it up, then I feel like they have a lot of options. But if they're not, then
Yeah,
girl,
they
we
did
could
say
be
monogamy
friends.
as the third sentence. So, but I do think they just have to have this conversation. So, yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, we could do this all night. Everybody, thanks for weighing in. Let's continue the conversation over on our Tags Patreon community. We love to hear from you. And we will, because there was a lot of hot topics, and aging is such a particular thing for our community. So go to patreon.com/tags podcast. You can always follow my co-host, Kodi Maurice Doggette, and be sure and get his new EP. It's on Spotify, it's on YouTube Music, it's on Apple Music. Go get it. It's called Thing of Beauty. It's his brand new EP, and it really is a thing of beauty. I love it
Oh,
so
thank
much.
you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Follow him on the gram at Mr. Maurice or on Blue Sky. Follow me on the gram. I am underscore Steve V. And we are back with new shows all next week. And check out our social media because we're continuing the conversation. And in the meantime, continue having hot
Hot
gay
gay
sex.
sex.
Lovely. It's my birthday song.
Happy
I love
birthday
it.
song.